Hey everybody, what is up? Fourth Seraph here, and today I'm going to be doing a part 2 to my Call of Duty 2017 video will suck, because apparently people don't understand, and I got a lot of people that think that I'm retarded. And so I'm going to kind of explain some stuff about Activision and why Call of Duty is going downhill, because a bunch of people seem to think that it's this giant that can't fail, it's too big to fail, and if Wall Street and the American economy has taught us anything, it is that anything too big to fail inevitably will be because of corruption and stupid crap. So let's get into this. We're talking about freaking Activision and how much they suck, everyone's favorite topic. Okay, here's the thing about Activision. Here's why Call of Duty is failing, and here's what Activision fails to realize that will inevitably lead to a huge downfall. Now, luckily, Activision has a ton of money from a ton of other games. They own Blizzard, so, you know, they're probably not, as an entire company, gonna fail. But Call of Duty, the business model they've set up for that isn't sustainable. Here's why. We're gonna get into some business stuff. Okay, I'm gonna do an analogy that may make 0 sense. I've run it through in my head twice. It worked one time, it didn't make any sense the other time, so let's see if this works. You go to a donut shop. You really like this donut shop. You buy donuts there. Donuts there are $2, right? You go, you buy your donut. Now this donut shop makes good donuts, but eventually people just are buying less and less of them. They try and update their recipe, they use some new batter, the donuts aren't quite as good. You're still going there and buying it because you really like this donut shop, but some of the customer base has dropped off. So in order for this donut shop to make the same profits it was making, it has two options. It either can try to sell a higher amount of donuts by maybe reverting the recipe back, fixing it, and actually making it better or more appealing to more people, or what they can do is they can raise the price of the donuts. This donut shop, instead of saying, hey, we're not getting as many people in here, we need more people, they say, well, we have a very loyal customer base, so we're gonna now charge $10 a donut. Now, I really like those donuts, so I keep going to that store for a little bit, but eventually I look at my account and I go, I can afford it, I can afford it, I can afford it, I can't really afford it, I really like this, so maybe I'll buy half as many donuts as I was, and now I really just can't afford this donut. I look at my bank account and I say, you know, this is a lot for a donut. This might even be my favorite donut, but there's another donut shop across town where donuts are still only $2. They're not quite as good as my favorite store, but the significant price difference makes it worth it for me to go there. So, this is essentially Activision's model. Instead of looking at their disappointing sales and saying, you know, to make our money, we need to make games that are more appealing to people. We need to make a better game so lots of people buy it. They're like, what we're gonna do is instead of the average person paying $60, plus let's even just assume they're buying the 4 DLC that Call of Duty normally does, which is what, like $15? So another 60. So over the course of a year, the average person, let's just say, for the sake of argument, is spending $120. Well, now what they've decided to do is say, you know what, that person's gonna pay more. And they said, let's make the average person, through them trying to get guns and camos and stuff out of supply drops, let's make them pay maybe $300 a year, $400 a year. Well, for kids, for high school kids, for people that aren't working, or even for people that are working or whatever, like, that might be sustainable for 1 year, right? You get the new Call of Duty that comes out and it's like, oh, this is sick. I really like all this stuff, I'm gonna buy it. Second year comes around, oh, this is really cool, I'm really enjoying this game, I'm gonna buy it. Third year comes around, okay, you know what? I'm looking now and I'm realizing all this stuff that I bought in Advanced Warfare is useless. All the stuff I bought in Black Ops 3 is useless because I'm not going back to playing those games. I'm playing the new one. So, in a year, the stuff I buy in this one's going to be useless too. So I'm maybe going to buy a few supply drops, but I'm only going to buy half as many. I'm only going to spend $200 this year instead of $300. The next year, I'm not going to buy any supply drops at all. Because I know that in another year, another Call of Duty is going to come out, and all the money I spent, a lot of it will have been money wasted because it was so short term. Because it was like I'm spending huge amounts of money for very little return in order to do something for a year. Like a game you play for a year, but just for another gun, paying an extra $20, $30 for just one single weapon in a game isn't going to be worth it. And so this is what's going to happen. People are going to, for a few years, they'll pay the exuberant amount that Activision wants for you to buy all the pay-to-win, stupid crap DLC. But it won't work. That's not a sustainable model. And because it hasn't happened yet, because in Activision's recent earnings report, they're like, oh, we're making a ton of money. But it's starting to happen. So many people I know have said that they're not going to keep buying supply drops in Advanced Warfare. I know a lot of people that have said they're not buying supply drops in Modern Warfare Remastered. And so next year, I promise you their earnings will be less. And the year after that, if they keep with this business model, even less. And they will drop and drop and drop until they make their business model about selling a lot of games. That is the only way to do it. Okay? The capitalist model rewards people that sell a lot of stuff, right? Even in fashion brands. There are some brands that sell really, really, really expensive stuff, but it's a lot easier to sell, like at H&M, for them to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of like $8 t-shirts than it is for Gucci to sell one $10,000 jacket. And so H&M is making more money than Gucci. These shops that can just sell mass amounts of stuff, that is a sustainable business model because people will always be willing to spend a little bit of money. But after a while, people won't continue to spend a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. It's not a sustainable model. And a lot of people didn't understand that in my last video, that it's a problem because it's a problem for Call of Duty in general. It's not just that I don't like supply drops. It's that it won't work. Call of Duty is in real financial trouble because of this. And that's what a lot of people didn't seem to understand. They're like, well, I don't care about supply drops or whatever. But we should. We should all care about it because even if you like supply drops, and I will say this, I like cosmetic items, and in Infinite Warfare, I love the way the camos look. I love how it covers the whole gun. That is, I think, a great improvement. I don't think Infinite Warfare is terrible altogether, but it needs to not be based around people just buying supply drops because you can't just make that a huge, huge chunk of your earnings. It has to be about game sales. That has to be the core focus. Otherwise, they are in trouble, guys. And that is why I care about this, because I care about Call of Duty. I want them to keep making games, and I want them to be good games. Because we haven't gotten a World at War II yet. And dang it, I want that freaking game because the first one was so good. And I have so many memories of playing that just all day after I got home from freaking 7th grade. Just sitting down and yelling at everyone because they sucked playing freaking Call of Duty. And I want that again. And I want it to be good. And unfortunately, I don't think the people at Activision are realizing this yet because they look and they see really good profit. But it can be overwhelming, right? You see, like, we're just making a ton of money, and so you don't think about the future as much. And I think that's why they're overlooking it. I think that's why they've adopted this business model, because it seems like it's working, but I don't think it'll work long term. So hopefully you guys can understand this. Hopefully it adds a little bit of light to what I was talking about in my previous Call of Duty video. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and share it if you enjoyed it. Just help get the word out there. And anyways, guys, until next time, I will see you online.